Hey, it's me, OG Duffy. Found myself in Maidstone. Wasn't a planned trip, so I've just popped in, and I'm now going to pop into CEX while I'm here, because it'd be rude not to, guys, you know that. And a £10 CEX challenge. Watch this space. Kicking off this CEX Retro Challenge, and I'll tell you what, I spotted this in the window here. Playdate, right? £325. I've never seen one of these before. It's got some sort of cranky handle thing on the side, and I don't know what the hell is this thing, guys. I'm sure one of you knows. Drop in the comments, please. I'm intrigued. Now entering the store. Plenty in this cabinet here. Lots of decent retro bits, all the way from sort of your Dreamcast, Mega Drive, Master System, NES. There really is something for everyone. Plenty here, and some nice little bits too. I do treat myself to one of these NES carts here, which we'll come to at the end, and I'll show you my pickups, what I actually found stuff. And that is not part of the challenge, guys, so let's not get too excited. I just treated myself because, hey, you know, I'm worth it. Anyway, the Dreamcast control stick there, nice arcade stick there for the fighting games, one would imagine. Looks well chunky actually. It's got a bit of weight to it, so a fairly decent arcade stick, one would guess. Plenty of loose carts here, seem well wrapped and nicely displayed. You can see the pricing very clearly, which is always beneficial and useful. Now look at this here. What a game this was. Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. I can remember playing it. It's a tough platform game, guys, but I tell you what, the sound, the graphics and everything on this, probably got to be one of the best Star Wars games made, honestly. It really is classic. It's hard as nails to play, don't get me wrong, but what a game it was. And of course, had 2 follow-ups as well. So for 15 quid, although it's a loose cart, bargain, methinks. And seeing this game at the back here, this took me right back. Look there, Ghostbusters on the Sega Master System. Now for me, Ghostbusters was a classic, and I remember it on the Commodore 64, and not just that. I seem to remember going into like the computer game shops at the time, and the 8-bit systems and all that. And was it just me, or did it seem to be #1 in the computer game charts for what seemed like an age? It certainly seemed that way to me. Did you have that on any of the 8-bits? Were you old enough to remember? Drop it in the comments. And of course, I always get a little bit excited when I spot the Wii U section, because as you know, I'm going for a full Wii U PAL set. I've put a good few videos up here showing my collection, and I'm cracking the back of it now, guys. But very rarely at the moment am I finding anything that I don't already have when I see the Wii U section. It's always a little bit disappointing when you see a reprinted cover in CEX, which is a real shame. But luckily I've never ordered anything online and had a reprinted cover delivered to me. GameCube games here, quite a few. Hit and run now, £40. I know that was going for a few quid on PS2 as well recently, but not 40. Ocarina of Time. Now Nintendo DS and 3DS games. Are they going to start really valuing, guys? Because obviously the Nintendo eShop closed recently. A lot of people are speculating that the price of them is going to start rocketing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Should we all start focusing our attention on the DS and 3DS? What do you think? Donkey Konga. Who remembers this? They come with them little drum controllers. It was a good little rhythm game actually. It wasn't original artists on there if I recall, but it was really good. This was sort of your precursor before your Guitar Hero and all that. Obviously featured this sort of bongo drum thing, and tell you what, from what I remember, it was bloody good fun. I'll have to drag it out again, you know. Anyway, moving on. So that concludes the GameCube section there. Next up, Nintendo Wii. Always like looking at the Wii games. You never quite know what you're going to find. Quite often I come across some real oddities, games I never knew existed, and they're never usually that expensive, so I generally pick them up. This is a good example here. This one here, right? Dead Rising. Chop till you drop. Now we all know that Dead Rising, you know, is on the PS3 and the rest of it, but I've never seen this before on the Wii like this. Chop till you drop. Sounds intriguing, you know. Now the only bad bit is, opened it up, no manual. Now, in the Maidstone branch of CEX, I've found this before actually, and it's quite a common issue that a lot of the manuals are missing out the games here. It seems it's probably one of the worst CEXs I've been in for it. It's a real shame because I'd have had this, but there was no manual, so I had to go back on the shelf, I'm afraid. But I do pick up a Wii title, which is part of the £10 challenge, which we'll come to at the end when we finish this little tour, and I'll show you my pickups at the very end, as always guys, where we do that little eBay fun thing, you know, tallying up the totals etc of sold listings and things, and seeing if you can flip games to earn a few quid if that's your thing. Personally, I only do it for my personal collection. Couple of Zelda titles there, still very cheap on the Wii, I think, them couple of games there. It's worth keeping an eye out for, very playable. Nice little mix here, good range. Mortal Kombat sitting there, look. Armageddon. Had that before, I believe. Sports Mix by Mario. I've not seen that before. Again, that was £12. That was out of the challenge for this week. But do remember, I did treat myself to a little NES game, shall we say, which I'll show you at the end, guys, which isn't part of the £10 challenge, so I have stayed within budget. Or have I? We'll soon find out. When I set myself these little £10 or £20 challenges, it's been £20 in the past, I always find that PS2 is quite good. You get some really cheap games in CEX on the PS2 system, and quite often you can get a decent title, very cheap, that makes up the difference for the challenge, you know. Dead or Alive 2 here, a game that pretty much passed me by, to be honest. I mean, there were so many of these sort of beat 'em up titles at the time that I never really did play this, I don't think. Well, as you know, I was always a Street Fighter 2 sort of guy, and when it comes to the 3D fighters like this, I remember playing Tekken, and that was on PS1, but Dead or Alive 2, or Dead or Alive, never played either of them. Were they any good? Have I missed a decent fighter there? Let me know in the comments, guys. But also in the PS2 section, there's some general fodder. I mean, look at this here. iToy Play. Look how many copies of that they have got. 50p a copy. High School Musical there, and of course, yes, my favourite FIFA. As you can see, I scrolled past FIFA pretty quickly. But hey, got to take the rough with the smooth, so to speak, guys. And of course, guys, you knew this was coming. The PS3. I'll keep banging on and on and on about it, and how great it is, and how good the system still looks, and the price of the games for this system are just brilliant. They really, really are. I mean, don't get me wrong, you still got loads there, like your Call of Duties, like they are just massive. How many copies must they have sold of that game? My God, it must be a real money spinner. A bit like FIFA, I suppose. That's why it comes out every single year. Anyway, getting back to the PS3 games. Bit of a spoiler there. I do pick this one up, and you might be surprised how much these sold listings on eBay are for that one. So that are coming at the end, as always, guys, when I show you my complete pickups. But going back to the PS3, I think I've got about 3 or 4 systems now. I really have. The missus keeps saying, "What you got there?" And I walk in with a carrier bag and it's got a PS3 in it. I'll pick them up on FacePay, you know. I'll probably pay about £10–20 a system with a couple of controllers. So all in all, can't go wrong with this system, guys. I keep banging on, and I'm probably boring you with it, but honestly, there's so many great games for it. Do check it out if you don't already do so. And then this, finally. Now tell me, does the CEX stores you guys use have this? A shelf just for the new stock that comes in? This makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I mean, if they had this in my local, it would save me so much time rather than having to keep scanning the shelves a bit. Just go in, have a quick look on there, and find anything new. Makes perfect sense to me. If your store does this, do drop it in the comments. Let me know which stores do this. Is it quite a common thing, or is this just something new they're doing now? But I hope so. It's a bloody good idea, I think. So before we go back to OG Duffy Towers and show you my pickups, let's go have a beer. Whilst selecting my lager of choice, I did spot this. As a big Iron Maiden fan, it's always great to spot this out in the wild. Trooper Ale. Happy days. So I set myself the challenge, the £10 CEX challenge. I've been in, I've done it, and I can report, guys, I've stayed under budget, because as you know, there are 3 rules. Rule number 1, stay within budget, which I have. Rule number 2, do not buy any doubles, no games I already own. And rule number 3, no sports titles. Now, as you guys know, I go in there, I stick to the budget, and we just look just for fun, and we see what the average eBay prices on these work out as, all right? So it's just a bit of a CEX challenge, a bit of fun. It's a nice way to build the collection. And of course, I always like to end these with a pint. So before we get to the games room, see which pickups we had, let's have a bit of Stella. An impromptu visit to Maidstone CEX there, guys. So I thought I'll do a CEX £10 challenge. Now, I've done one of these for a while, and these are all very tongue-in-cheek and just for fun, all right, guys? Now, the idea behind them, I go into CEX and I set myself a challenge of either £10 or £20. I've not done more than 20 before. I should do, really, maybe up it. And I'll go in and I'll look around, and I have 3 rules I set myself with these, all right? Rule number 1, no doubles. Cannot buy games I already own. Rule number 2, stay within budget. Rule number 3, no sports titles unless it's a boxing title. I can make the exception there. And then just for fun, I look at the last 3 sold listings on eBay and I work out the average sale price. Now, as I say, this is all very tongue-in-cheek. Yes, you can earn money doing this, but it's a lot of hard work, really. And, you know, you've got to do your own work and all that sort of stuff. But I just do this purely to build my own collection, all right? It's just really good fun. So, we'll put in the prices up there as we go. What are the eBay averages? And we'll see if we can actually turn a profit on any of these. And if so, how much we could earn, all right? And like I say, this is just purely for fun. Anyway, the beer of choice today is a 1410 lager. I'm not sure which country is this from, but it's 5.3%. It's got a nice gold top, look. Bit of foil on the top, so that means it must be a posh beer, guys. So 1410. What a year that was, eh? I've no idea which country this one is. Alk, 5.3. Toria? Lithuania. This is a Lithuanian beer, 1410, and it's a lager. I can understand that bit of Lithuanian. So let's get this poured, taste test, and then we'll go through them games I bought. Mate, that one's alive, bro.
It was a total waste of good beer.
So the 1410 Lithuanian Zevusius. Bit of a life, this one. Mate, I have mopped up. Could do without that. Here we go. Nice pour. Dribble down the side. Wipe the shelf in a minute. Right. Nice clear lager. Not cloudy. Let's go for it. That's a good beer. I'm enjoying that one. Lively start, but worth it. Anyway, let's get to them pickups and check out the eBay values. So to the games I got. Yes, I got 4 titles and I stayed within budget. I spent a total of £9.50. So just out of interest, like I say, I'll be putting the totals up there. So let's go. First game was this, Headhunter on the PS2. Now, I paid £1 for this, all right? Now, if the last 3 sold listings for this on eBay work out £3.65. So a great start to this little £10 challenge with Headhunter there on the PS2. Not played it, but it is a Sega game, so I've got high hopes for this. In a world of corruption, the only guardians of peace and justice are the anti-crime network. Yeah, okay, sort of thing we've seen before. Looks like a bit of a shooter, sort of in a 3D sort of environment, or an FPS type way, really. Should be interesting. Anyway, so paid £1, and that's the total up there. Looking good so far. Second game, Headhunter Redemption. Now again was £1. Now the sold listings on the 3 last sold games on this for eBay work out at £2.94.
So, all in all, we're looking good. Now remember, as I say all the time, this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, you know, just for a bit of fun. Some of them prices included P&P, some didn't. So it's a real mixed bag, really. Again, it's a Sega game, isn't it? So I'm holding out good things to this, because, hey, why else would they have made a sequel if the first one was rubbish? That's my method of thinking about it, anyway. Get to number 3. A Nintendo Wii game, this one. And it is Soul Calibur Legends, okay? Now, as you can see there, I paid £3.50 for this. All of these games do come with the manuals, all right? Because as you know, I only buy games with the manuals in CEX, all right? But £3.50, that one. Soul Calibur Legends is a third-person action-adventure exclusive for Wii. Lead Siegfried and other Soul Calibur favourites in their quest for ultimate power. Now, anyway, as you can see there, I paid £3.50 for this, and the last 3 sold listings are on eBay for that, £7.54. So we're looking all right. We'll do the totals and that at the end, but we've got one more game to go on this pickup. But before we come to the final game, I have to let you in on a little secret. I also spotted something in the CEX there in Maidstone, and I treated myself to, which is a little bonus for me. So it's not part of this challenge, all right? But we'll come to that at the end. Anyway, game number 4. Game number 4 is a PS3 game. I keep banging on, guys, about the PS3. What's not to love? Honestly, the games are just so cheap. It's a great system, and it is Falling Skies, the game. Now, I'm all right in saying Falling Skies, wasn't it like a sci-fi TV show? An American TV show? Take command of a resistance squadron in a battle for mankind's existence. So I'm assuming you're taking on aliens, etc. Hey, yeah, what's not to love with that, eh? Gotta shooting aliens, always good fun, isn't it? Anyway, I paid £4 for this one, and as you can see there, £8.57. So that's going up there now, £8.57. So let's go now, take a look at the totals and see how much profit I could make if I chose to, and that little game I picked up for myself. So that's it, the challenge. £10 I had, I spent £9.50. So rule number 1 was, boom, I stayed within budget. Rule number 2, there was no sports titles. Happy days. And rule number 3, obviously, I haven't got any of these already. So they're great, they're all new additions to the collection. So, how well did we do there? So as I say, £9.50 spent and £22.70 in total if eBay sales were to go through on them. So that's quite a profit, guys. What's not to love with that? So a nice little earner could have been had if I chose to. Remember, all very tongue-in-cheek, guys. But let me know your comments, please, in the comments, what pickups you've had of late. Now, to that little bonus game I bought myself. If you don't already subscribe, please do so, because I appreciate it. And this content is free. Yes, free. Don't cost you a penny. Good like that. Anyway, my little bonus was this. I saw this, all right? It's an NES cartridge. I do like the NES, and it's I've said this in the past, it's probably the only system I would collect loose carts for, because I just think they look really cool, you know? Anyway, this was £20, and it is Gradius. Gradius. Unfortunately, no instruction manual. It is just the cartridge, but this is a game I will be playing. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Gradius, or Nemesis as I know it. I think Gradius was the name for it elsewhere, but here in the UK it was known as Nemesis. And it's my understanding that between the arcade versions, Gradius is an easier game than Nemesis. Did you know that? If so, please confirm it in the comments for me. Now, I just loved this in the arcade back in the day, and to be honest, on the NES, I think it's going to play really, really well. I've never played the NES version of it, so I looked at it, I thought, yeah, because it's great shoot 'em up, and you only need the 2 buttons, and of course the NES has the 2 buttons on the controller, so it's a game I'm really excited to play, because just a shoot and your power-up button, you know. But this was a great, great game for its time. I've really fond memories of that. Konami Classic. Over 1 million sold in Japan. Mate, what's not to love with that, alright? Anyway, guys, I've been OG Duffy. You've been awesome as always. Thanks for tuning in. And let me know, do you enjoy this sort of content? Drop it in the comments, what pickups etc. you've had of late. Any of them games any good? Let me know. Anyway, stay safe, look after yourselves, and this beer is for you. Laters.